adding that the delegation had been talking with INEC, security agencies, and other stakeholders, assuring that the mission would move to various zones in Nigeria to hear from the stakeholders. According to him, there is an urgent need for stakeholders to unite to ensure that the nation conducted elections that will be a model for the continent. He urged political parties and candidates in the elections to comport themselves well so as not to ignite violence capable of disrupting the exercise. In his reaction, the IPAC chairman, Mr. Olusegun Mobolaji, stated that the new technology being adopted by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is now sophisticated to mitigate electoral fraud. Meanwhile, the federal government, United Nations Women and World Bank have put plans together to ensure that women are adequately represented in the next administration at all levels come 2023. There was also an agreement to empower women, eliminate poverty, and address issues that affect women and children in Nigeria. This decision was made known at the 22nd Regular National Council on Women Affairs, organized by the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, held in Abuja. In her keynote address, the Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talon, said the theme for this year's NCWA Gender Inclusiveness and Women Economic Empowerment, making the change work for women and children, is apt as it gives room to once again address issues concerning women and children in Nigeria. The minister said 34 states have currently domesticated the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015, while 32 states have domesticated the Child Rights Act of 2003. At the meantime, the country director of World Bank Nigeria, Mr. Shobham Chaduri, said the organization is committed to investing in children and women, creating jobs and economic opportunities, and strengthening governance. The Nigerian Export Promotion says the nation's economy can thrive better without oil if the non-oil sector is prioritized. NEPC North Central Zonal Coordinator Mr. Samson Ido stated this today in Jos. In an interview with newsmen, Mr. Ido said Nigeria is blessed with abundant non-oil resources ranging from agricultural produce to mineral resources. According to him, all the regions should focus on what they have comparative advantage of and depend less on Abuja. He urged government not to wait until the oil dried up before adequate attention would be given to non-oil sector. In the meantime, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva, stated that Nigeria loses at least 700,000 barrels of crude oil to thieves daily. He made the assertion at the 2022 graduation of students of the Petroleum Training Institute in Ephraim, Delta State. The minister, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Ambassador Gabriel Adruda, said the federal government was making concerted efforts to curtail the menace. He said crude oil theft had impacted negatively on the nation's foreign exchange inflow. According to him, the Petroleum Ministry would synergize with the National Assembly to ensure that adequate attention was given to the amendment of the PTI Act. He said the ministry had given institutes mandates in different areas of research into the use of local materials in crude oil production, stoppage of gas flaring, and the commercialization of gas, among others. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has refuted claims that children in Nigeria were being administered a vaccine that contains 40% mercury, which was prescribed by foreign organizations. The agency made this known in a press statement signed by its Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, today. NAFDAC, however, said mercury is a metal and it is not used as an element or as a component of vaccines. It said the basic components of vaccines are antigens, advanced to improve immune response, antibiotics to prevent contamination during manufacturing, preservatives, and stabilizers. The Osun State chapter of the National Association of Persons with Physical Disabilities have expressed gratitude to God and their donors for their support at every point in time. The state chairman, Alhaji Ismail Tadeshi stated this while addressing the members of the association at the monthly general meeting. Oluwatobiloba Ojonoga has the details.
The chairman of the state chapter of the National Association of Persons with Physical Disability, NAPID, Alhaji Ismail Tadeshi, while addressing the members of the association, enjoined the members to always believe in God despite their challenges. The chairman would noted that there is hope in God, enjoined the members to always be closer to God, adding that there is hope in believing in their Creator. Alhaji Tadeshi expressed gratitude to their donors, including Malam Yusuf Olaoluwa Ali, Alhaji Abdulwasiu Adejumo, and the management of OSBC for their support at every point in time. Also speaking, the State General Secretary, Mr. Adetibo Olalekun, noted that their donors gave out 11 wheelchairs and 10 crutches, among others, to the association, adding that they picked their members who are going to be the beneficiaries of the gift from all local governments in the state.
Our movement is very, very difficult to move, but by virtue of assisting us by donating some of the necessary mobility aid for our people, at least they can relieve them from pain and plague they were facing in the society, and they will also have opportunity to move out, at least to join their colleagues or family members to celebrate whatever they want to do by virtue of having a mobility aid. So as a result of that, we really appreciate those people that are donating this.
The beneficiaries, including Mr. Adeni Yukomulafe, Mrs. Suliyat Aruno, Mrs. Shadiat Ademola, and Mrs. Muminot Tijani, all appreciated God in the lives of their donors, while they shower prayers on their donors for more blessings. Oluwatobiloba Ojonoga, OSBC News.
The Police High Command has said that there is no bomb planted anywhere in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, just as it's added that its decoy operatives remain vigilant in the territory and every other part of the country. According to the police Public Relations Officer Muyiwa Adejobi, it is surprising and is happening to read in the news and social media that bombs are being planted in every area of the Federal Capital Territory, even from some individuals who are presumed to be peace ambassadors and patriotic agents of national unity in Nigeria. The police spokesperson condemned the spread of such fearful rumors to further create more panic among citizens and residents of the FCT and Nigeria at large, reiterating that the Federal Capital Territory is safe and there is no imminent threat. Neither is the FCT being saturated with bombs, as speculated in the news. Adejobi urges residents of the FCT and Nigerians at large to disregard the fake news, which was purportedly sponsored to create fear in the people and heat up the polity. He added that the police will continue to adopt all effective operational strategies to decimate the activities of non-state actors and other criminal elements in the country. You are welcome to our sports segments. Nigeria's Flamingos defeated Germany on penalty shootout to pick up the bronze medal at the 2022 Under-17 Women's World Cup in India today. The Flamingos surrendered a 3-0 lead to the Germans but went on to win 3-2 in the shootout. The Germans missed 3 of their efforts, while the Flamingos saw one of their efforts saved. Okoyemi Ajakaye, Aminat Bello, and Edidiong Etim were the scorers for Nigeria, while Jella Viet, Paulina Plantina, and Lauren Benter netted for the European Under-17 champions. Germany thought they had taken the lead in the 5th minute, but after the video assistant referee checked, the goal was disallowed following a foul on Flamingo's keeper, Fifth Milana. Meanwhile, the final will take place later next week between reigning Under-17 women's champion Spain and Colombia. 153 people have died in a crash in South Korea's capital, Seoul, with another 82 injured. Similarly, another stampede left 7 spectators and 1 police officer died today during a packed concert by African music star Fally Ipupa at the biggest stadium in the DR Congo's capital. Details of these and other stories are packaged by Abdul Jalil at DBC. Our foreign desk reports.
OSBC say the dead include 20 foreign nationals, saying the jam of people happened as a huge crowd gathered in Itaewon, a popular nightlife area for Halloween. Most victims were teenagers and adults in their 20s. The fire service also claimed that the crush began in a narrow alley when people in a crowd fell over, being the first outdoor no mask Halloween event since the pandemic. The police chief told newsmen today that there were 8 deaths, including 1 police officer in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Martyr Stadium has an 80,000 capacity. As reports said, it was absolutely full for the local favorite, with one witness saying even the corridors of the stadium were outflowing. The agency, which had reporters in the stadium covering the concert, said police had condoned of 3 areas to secure the pitch, the VIP stand, and the stage. Singer-songwriter Falling Ipupa, like all Congolese singers, had arrived several hours after show had been scheduled to start. The Kinshasa-born 44-year-old is one of the Africa's leading musicians whose album sold worldwide. The number of people killed in twin car bombing in the Somali capital Mogadishu claim Al-Shabaab has risen to 100. President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud said the number of people who died has reached 100 and 300 are wounded, and the number for both the dead and wounded continues to increase. According to him, 2 cars packed with explosives blew up minutes apart near the BC Zube intersection, followed by gunfire in an attack targeting Somalia's education ministry. The afternoon explosion tore through walls and shattered windows of nearby buildings, sending shrapnel flying and plumes of smoke and dust into the air. Police spokesman Sadiq Dushe said the victims included women, children, and the elderly. He added that the attack took place at the same BC junction where a truck packed with explosives blew up, killing 512 people and injuring more than 290 people. A man threw petrol bombs attached with fireworks at a center for processing migrants in the southern English port of Dover today and then killed himself. The attacker, a white man in a stripped top, drove up to the center in the white sea spot utility vehicle. He got out and threw 3 petrol bombs, one of which did not go off. He then drove to a nearby petrol station, tied an improvised noose around his neck, attached it to a metal pole, and drove off, killing himself. Abdul Jalil at DBC OSBC News.
We now go on a short break. Dateline continues in a moment. Please. You are welcome back to Dateline proper. And our first story revealed the itinerary of Governor Adegboyega Oyetola during the just concluded week was put together by Governor's Office correspondent Sonia Onoride. Please enjoy it.
Addressing the party supporters at the Lansing Mandela Freedom Park, Osogbo, the state capital, Governor Adegboyega Oyetola maintained that the candidature of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his running mate, Senator Kassim Shettima, remain the best alternative for the country in tapping its economic potential, infrastructural developments, health and educational transformation for the benefit of all if elected president in the 2023 general election. Governor Oyetola therefore enjoined members of the All Progressive Congress in the state of Osun to work assiduously across the state in ensuring that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kassim Shettima presidential ticket becomes a reality in the forthcoming presidential election.
Believe Asiwaju is the right candidate, the best candidate in this country. Particularly now, with the challenges that we have in this country, Asiwaju is the best candidate.
Speaking in the same vein, the leadership of the party, including the state chairman, Prince Gboyega Famodun, Honorable Abiodun Awolola, Honorable Kamil Oyedele, Mr. Rufus Awotidoye, reiterated that victory for the former governor of Lagos State is a task that must be done in replicating incredible feat recorded in Lagos State for the benefit of all Nigerians.
See the legacy of Tinubu in Lagos State. That has speak about him. The legacy is there. Since 1999, since the advent of the democracy, Lagos State has been consistent under the Tinubu leadership. There is no any other party there. There is a consistency in governance there.
Transform this country in all facets of life. Talk about governance, talk about the security, talk about the economy, talk about the education, health sector. We know you have a capacity, and we arrange a team. So a team that will lead Nigeria into better life.
He has been doing it. He knows how to. He knows the best way of handling the country situation, and we are very hopeful that he's the next president.
That as far as
The solidarity walk, which had members of the All Progressive Congress in the state of Osun thronged the state capital, took off from Government House, flowed through Okefia, Alekuwodo, Olaiya, Odiolowo, Isale Osun, Ojaba, Station Road, Ajegunle, and eventually terminated at Nelson Mandela Freedom Park, Osogbo. Receiving the Oyo State Governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, at Government House, Okefia, Osogbo, the state capital, Governor Adeboyega Oyetola will recall that the two states is an offspring of one source, commended Governor Makinde for prioritizing welfare of the citizen, irrespective of political affiliation, as demonstrated in Lautech Resolution and Amatekun Security Network. Governor Oyetola therefore cautioned political elites against playing politics to the detriment of people's welfare. Governor Makinde, while acknowledging the existing mutual rapport between the two governors, commended Governor Oyetola for his doggedness towards the overall welfare of the citizenry, despite the outcome of the election, describing the movement as one which would eventually rebound to reckoning. He submitted that Governor Oyetola is currently passing through the rough patches of life that will transform into greater heights. Speaking on the road project, Governor Adeboyega Oyetola, as well as Governor Seyi Makinde, noted that the 91-kilometer Ibadan-Iwo-Osogbo road project is particularly embarked upon in fulfillment of his campaign promises to the people of Iwo and its environment, promoting regional integration as well as sustaining socio-economic developments of the people through collaborative efforts. The governors consider the road project as a revolution unfolding in the southwest, being piloted by the two governors and changing former way of doing things for the benefit of the citizenry. In their separate remarks, the state commissioners for works in Osun and Oyo states, Engineer Remi Omowaye and Professor Dahoud Sangodoyi, while commending the two governors for their foresight, irrespective of political affiliation, said that the road project, when completed, will eliminate hiccups on the route, reduce the journey by a reasonable time, as well as ensuring accelerated economic developments for the states. Goodwill messages delivered by Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Akambi, Olubadan of Ibadan, Senator Lekan Balogun, represented by High Chief Edi Oyewole, lauded the governors for the initiative, adding that the project would not only deepen the existing peaceful relationship between the two states, but also transforms their economy. The road project, 55-kilometer section on Osun State, 35.6 kilometer on Oyo State, when completed, will feature ultramodern structural designs and jointly funded by the two state governments at a staggering sum of over 24 billion naira. High point of the occasion was the exchange of gifts by the two governors, as well as flagging off of the road project at Dele Yesa by Governor Adeboyega Oyetola and Governor Seyi Makinde. The occasion was witnessed by the wife of the governor, Mrs. Kafayat Oyetola, the deputy governor of Oyo State, Alhaji Abdulrahim Adebayo, cabinet members, lawmakers, as well as traditional rulers in Osun and Oyo states. Speaking in Osogbo, the state capital, during the flag-off of monthly social support scheme for vulnerable widows and the aged, Governor Adeboye Oyetola said that his administration remain focused on the policies and programs specifically designed to alleviate the lives of the less privileged in the society. Governor Oyetola will recall that despite paucity of funds, the administration has continued to prioritize overall welfare of workers and pensioners, as well as delivering on infrastructural developments across the state. Implore the beneficiary of the scheme to make judicial use of the gesture by engaging in the productive ventures that improves their well-being.
As part of our objective to give better life to the poor and the indigent, we have given social protection the pride of place with over 14 social investment programs targeted at the people, the youth, the poor, and school children. These expansive programs and the attendant impact we have recorded have earned us awards from the eras of MDGs to that of SDGs, and even prompted the federal government to send a delegation to understudy our state.
In his remark, the State Commissioner for Integration and Special Duties, Engineer Lekan Badmos, noted that the 20 million naira monthly stipends for 4,000 beneficiaries is in line with Governor Oyetola's social intervention policies geared towards improving the well-being of the less privileged citizens in the state.
In the last 3 years of office, our governor, Adeboye Oyetola, has never left anyone without about his unflinching commitment to the social well-being of the citizens. The achievements recorded in all our ongoing intervention programs would not have been possible without the resolve and drive of our people-loving government to bring happiness to the vulnerable in the states.
The beneficiaries who received an instant credit alert exploded with joy, expressing admiration and commendation for the monthly social intervention scheme for the less privileged citizen initiated by Governor Adeboye Oyetola. For Dateline, Saya Onoide reporting.
Thank you very much, Sonia Onoide. Now, democracy is generally believed to be the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. However, many Nigerians have continually questioned the rationale behind the definition of the way democracy is practiced in the country, especially in terms of cost of governance. And this position was heightened following the revelation about the severance allowance politicians who retire are expected to take home from the public fund in the face of harsh economic realities. This Dateline report focuses on the jumbo packages of over 60 billion naira budgeted for public office holders and the reactions of Nigerians. Report. The severance packages budgeted for President Muhammadu Buhari, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, state governors and other political appointees leaving office next year may cost the country about 63.45 billion naira, has sparked outrage among Nigerians, especially some human rights activists who feel that such an amount is unjustifiable in the face of daunting economic challenges bedeviling the country. The figure also covers the severance gratuity for ministers, commissioners, National Assembly members, and special advisors. A breakdown of the package indicated that the federal government would pay out 3.39 billion naira, while the states will cough out 60.06 billion naira. According to the document obtained from the website of the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, the severance allowance is separate from the financial packages which may be in place as retirement benefits or pensions for some of the political office holders. As approved by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Allocation Commission, political office holders are entitled to 300% of their annual salary as severance package. In addition, some ex-governors will be paid 100% of their annual basic salary. for life after leaving office. The revelation is also coming when the Court of Appeal had passed a judgment against it in 2019. The court had held that it is unjustifiable for politicians who hold office for not more than 8 years to allocate huge public funds to themselves in the name of pension and severance package, while civil servants who committed most of their active years to service of the nation are denied their benefits. Reacting to this development, a unionist, Chief Wale Oyeni, said it is unfortunate that Nigerian leaders have not learned the act of selfless service to the people. He called on government not to engage in illegalities and respect the appeal court judgment against jumbo packages.
People now that spent 35 years, they are not to get anything. And you spent only 4 or maximum of 8 years, and you are getting billions of naira. So my take is that in this country we have a long way to go for us to develop. In developed countries, it can happen. It cannot happen. More so, there's a court judgment on it, banning it, say it's very illegal. What are they doing? They just take us for granted. They take we Nigerians for granted. They take we workers for granted. That's not the case. So it's a legal activity. And I pray that one day, NSC or TUC will wake up from their slumber and even sue the government.
Speaking in the same vein, a human rights activist, Comrade Wahid Lawal, stated that the way democracy is practiced in Nigeria defied all moral logic, as it has only benefited the ruling class and left majority of the masses in abject poverty.
If Nigerians who works for 35 years, 35 meritorious years to serve their fatherland could not get their pension on time, and they are earmarking billions of naira for the past president, it shows that our leaders, they were not concerned about the plight of the people, which is wrong. Democracy entails government of the people, by the people and for the people. But what they were running now is a government of the few, by the few and for the few. It is their constitutional right because the constitution has budgeted for them. But whichever way, they should be concerned about the welfare of their citizens.
In his contribution, the rights activist, Comrade Murtala Abdullah, stated that Nigeria's democracy is the most expensive in the world and only caters for the ruling class to the detriment of the masses.
Their gratuity, their pensions are not paid as and when due. But when politicians leave office after spending 4 years or maximum for the executive positions 8 years, they take humongous amount. For how long we can do this, I don't know. But I think we have got to a labyrinth. We have got to a crossroad where others, apart from politicians, must take active interest in what happens in Nigeria. Otherwise, this unfortunate incident will continue to linger on.
Chief Oyeniyi, Comrade Lawal, and Comrade Agbola called on labor unions across the country, civil society groups, and the generality of the people to employ all constitutional means to save Nigeria's economy from total collapse. During the week, members of the fourth estate of the realm in Osun State celebrated the Pen Week. The celebration was laced with various activities that make the annual program memorable. Oluwatobi Loba Odunuga covered the event, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the package.
Will for a long time linger in the heart of an average journalist in Osun State as it marked the day when the 2022 Osun NEJ Pen Week activities kick-started. The young and old, including veterans in the pen profession, gathered at the Adedayo Karim Central Mosque Osogbo to observe the 2 Juma prayer, handing over the celebrations to Allah. The cleric in charge of the mosque out on the need for journalists to serve as watchdog to the public, especially those in political positions, but never encourage tribalism, bitterness, and hypocrisy. The NUJ, Osun Council Chairman, Comrade Wasiu Ajadosho appreciated the committee for facilitating the Jumat service. The following Monday, a member of the Green Chamber of the National Assembly, Honorable Bamdele Salam, took the gathering of elder statesmen, including former Nigerian ambassador to Philippines, Dr. Yemi Farumbi, on the topic legislative oversight functions and the entrenchment of democracy in Nigeria. Honorable Salam said that rather than dissipating energy on the topic before him, that the 1999 Constitution, as amended, needs a total overhauling. According to him, the Constitution has paved way for corrupt practices, hence the present predicament of the country.
System that will make sure that the greater good of Nigerian people is serviced by the government of Nigeria.
Dr. Farumbi, on that fateful day, also made lofty contributions, describing the country as a vehicle with faulty engine. The former Nigerian ambassador to Philippines called for visionary leaders that will save the country from its multifarious challenges. Health, they say, is wealth. To ensure that journalists live healthy life, there were health talk and sporting activities, including indoor and outdoor games. In all the sporting activities, OSBC team showed its mastery as smiled on with the giant trophy in the football competition, to standing fan in the table tennis and ludo games. As if that was not enough, on Thursday, apart from an array of dignitaries awarded for their contributions to human and national development, journalists also smiled on with various categories of awards. Among the awardees was Saeed Adeboje, who won the Best Reporter of the Year, Olusola Igbodofor won the Best Newscaster Award, Lateef Dada Best Investigative Reporter, and Bisola Ariwodola the Best Information Officer, among others. All roads led to the palace of Olowu of Urukuta. Oba Ahmed Adekunle Oyelude Makama Tegbosun II on Friday, as the Osun Council of the NUJ inducted the royal father into its prestigious Hall of Fame before an array of eminent jurists, scholars, and royal fathers. The life patron of NUJ OSBC Chapel, who doubled as the Olowu of Urukuta, was presented for injunction by the chairman of NUJ Osun Council, Comrade Wasiu Ajadosho.
Has actually demonstrated that he possesses the ability to give back to the society. It's not always easy to give back to society. Even if they possess where they have issues, they will not show interest in the development of man. So KBAC is humanitarian by excellence. It's only keen in anything that will better the lives of others. It's interested in development of man and even material development.
The Olowu of Urukuta, who could not hide his joy, pledged to further serve humanity.
I'm grateful that a very responsive association like the prestigious Academy of Journalists was worthy of that honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. They said this is the fourth since the creation of their state. This is the fourth. So it's an honor. I'm grateful that I will not carry it. I appreciate it. And our friend, membership and the export of the General Organization has got yes. I will look my effort.
For God is always pleased by those who thanks and appreciate him. Hence, the Speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Timothy Owoye, hosted journalists at the Cherubim and Seraphim Church, Bella Okeyo, Ilesha. They sang and danced, appreciating God for a successful pen week. In his sermon, the cleric in charge of the church, Most Robert Elijah, described journalists as light of the world who should be accorded the needed respect. The cleric, who described the two holy books, the Quran and the Bible, as a complete directive from God, urged individuals not to compromise the own signs of God as a supreme being. He implored them to be more dedicated to their Creator. Speaking, the host, Honorable Timothy Owoye, appreciated the tasking job done by journalists. Honorable Owoye, who congratulated them on a yet another pen week celebration, calling on them to remain factual in their reportage. The program was not a dull moment all through, as the Speaker, Honorable Timothy Owoye, hosted journalists to a civic reception. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, reporting for DATELINE.
DATELINE congratulates Osun NUJ for the success of the pen week. And now to our last story. Do you know that the latest report from the World Health Organization, WHO, has revealed that Nigeria has the highest suicidal rate among African countries? Are you also aware that the productive Nigerian youth are those found to be at the center of suicide or attempted suicide? Experts have attributed the upsurge in suicide rate to depression. The question is, what is depression and how can it be detected early enough to save lives? A DATELINE report attempts some answers to these questions. Depression is a mental health disorder characterized by persistently depressed mood or loss of interest in activities, causing significant impairment in daily life. Possible causes include a combination of biological, psychological, and social sources of distress. Increasingly, research suggests that these factors may cause changes in brain function, including altered activity of certain neural circuits in the brain. These changes in the brain function have led many into having suicidal thoughts, and others actually committing the act. A psychiatrist, Dr. Benjamin Egnorati, explains more.
Majority of people outside there have a mental illness. Major one that is causing suicide most of the time is depressive disorder. When one is having severe depressive disorder, you have low energy. You just walk as if you are dragging your feet. You have low mood. You're not happy, very unhappy. You have low self-esteem, lack of interest and enjoyment in what you normally enjoy before. At the very end of the day, there will be hopelessness. And you think, what is in this world again? Why is the world still called age? Life is not good again. And at the end of the day, the next thing you discover the person will do is that, let me end it up.
In a new report that estimated the cases of suicide globally, the World Health Organization, WHO, noted that across the world, one person takes their life every 40 seconds. The report also revealed that Nigeria has the highest suicidal rate among African countries, with over 17,000 lives lost to suicide in a year. There have been multiple reports of suicides in Nigeria this year alone, as investigations have shown that there have been upsurge in suicide rates, especially among young people. Nigeria has been reported to have the highest suicidal rate among African countries. Hardly could a day go by without stories about an attempted suicide or about someone that died of suicide. The recent happenings in Osun, where a lady was reported to have jumped into the Osun River, and another man who also jumped into the river in an attempted suicide but was rescued, have become a source of concern to many, particularly since most of those found in this situation are youth. Reacting to this development, Dr. Benjamin Egnorati, who attributed the ugly trend to depression, which could have been fueled by the socio-economic situation in the country, but not limited to it, maintained that depression is real. He explained that the commonest methods by which people commit suicide is through hanging, jumping into a flowing river or lagoon, self-poisoning, and shooting. He called on parents, teachers, religious leaders, as well as all stakeholders to resuscitate the spirit of communal living by always reaching out to one another, adding that loneliness is also a factor that can fuel suicidal thoughts.
Normally, you are not supposed to kill yourself. You are supposed to weather the storm. Life may be rough today. It's going to be good tomorrow. Somebody that is not in your vicinity, you can call the person, how are you faring? I hope you are fine. This. That, they can tell you that, look, I'm tired. All this thing is, and you must take it very serious. And the family of the people now, once they mention it to you, take it serious.
In their separate contributions, some religious leaders, including Pastor Samson Aderibigbe, Imam Muhammadu Adeniran, and Chief Ifakayode Fani, maintained that Christianity, Islam, and traditional religion did not support suicide. They noted that human life is sacred, and no one has the right to take it for whatsoever reason.
It's actually wrong for anyone to take his or her own life. There's no even any Bible passage that juxtaposes that. Rather, we have plenty passages of the scripture that condemn it. Even our Lord Jesus Christ said, in the world you will see tribulation in John chapter 16:33. He said, in the world you will see tribulations, but in me you will receive peace. He said, behold, I have settled everything. I've conquered everything.
We have to rely on God in everything we are doing. With the basic teaching that وَمَنْ تَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. He who so rely on God, God will be sufficient for him. Then the followers will not in any way attempt suicide. Once you know everything comes from God Almighty, once you know that everything is God from God Almighty, you rely on Him, He'll be sufficient for you.
So killing yourself, killing each other unnecessarily, before rejected it in totality, and jumping to Osho River or Lagoon in Lagos or beach, or killing, committing suicide in whatever form, even by poisoning yourself, it's not good. And it's alarming. It's too much these days. Although we know it's due to the economic situation of the country, but there's a global economic problem now. So people should not kill themselves.
They spoke on the need for Nigerians to resuscitate the spirit of communal living, where everyone watches out for one another. You have heard it all. The pressure is real. So, be your brother's keeper. That ends Dateline on OSBC TV. Thank you for watching. It was produced by Babatunde Kolatito and assisted by Abdul Jalil at Davisi. My name is Oluchi Amuda. Good night.